Hey, what's good, y'all? Jay Boogie in full effect mode. Bun down is the sound. You know how we do. And this is, of course, The Lounge Presents. We're live streaming right here on Twitch. And as with all our episodes, they will be streaming on Spotify on demand, post live stream. Now, in the lounge space today, we are blessed to have the presence of this person right here. Goes by the name of Philth Spector.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, happy to be here.
Hey,
Very
yes
excited.
sir, yes sir. Nah, I'm glad we were able to get you into the lounge space.
Yes.
We've been we've been thinking of getting you on, in the past, but I mean, today was the day, right? So obviously
Yeah,
today was the day it was supposed to happen. So we finally got you in here.
happy to be here.
Yes, man. Yes, man. So let's start like this. We always start our by asking our guests how they were first introduced to hip hop culture.
Okay. Um, I'm trying to think. So, growing up, uh, both of my parents, like my dad, really listened to like mostly rock music, but like he was into like soul music, and then my mom loved like disco music, and she loves the song "White Lines" by Grandmaster Flash.
Haha,
That's like
nice.
so. Like I guess
Nice.
from technically speaking, that's probably it. But
Okay. Just dealing with a little bit of lag here.
can you
Sometimes
hear me
happens.
still?
I can still hear you. We've
Okay.
got a little bit of lag.
Oh, my bad.
It's
So
not your bad, man.
in Philly, there used to be like a public access music video show called Tunes
Oh, dope.
that used to come in on Saturday nights after ECW wrestling, and that was kind of
Oh,
like the
nice.
so like my mom's a nurse, so that was kind of the routine in my house. She'd go to work, me, my dad, and my brothers would order pizza, watch wrestling, and then watch Tunes. And like I vividly remember the video for "Body Moving" by Beastie Boys
Okay.
coming on there. So that's probably my first like memory. That was like around the time what their album "Hello Nasty" came out. I was like 8 or 9 years old,
Yeah.
and from that point, like they've been my favorite band ever since. Like favorite group in any genre.
Yeah, well, that became obvious a little bit later.
Yeah.
I like that you bring up the cable access shows because for so many markets, cable access shows always seem to have an imprint in
Yeah.
local markets, right?
This
So I'm
wasn't
glad
even
you
on
brought that up.
cable. This was on basic TV in Philly.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was it
Yeah.
was it, it, it was coming right out of a local station.
I forget the guy's name, but he used to go to like it was like a kind of like TRL almost. Like this
Yeah, yeah.
guy, the host would like go to nightclubs in Philly and ask people what videos they wanted to see, and like
Okay.
he would do like a top 10 countdown. It was like all genres, like they'd play everything. But it was it
That's
would be on
solid.
Saturday nights after wrestling.
I I find it serendipitous, and I'm gonna say this that you mentioned ECW and that you watched wrestling because we have another podcast called Top Ropes and Topes with
Okay.
Eloquent, and it's a wrestling
Okay.
podcast.
All right.
We might have
Yeah,
to
I
get
was
you on there.
Yeah, me and my brothers were just at Monday Night Raw when they were just in Philly a couple weeks ago.
Oh damn, okay. So
Yeah, yeah.
you're still very much,
Oh yeah, yeah,
paying attention.
for
All right.
sure.
We might have to tap into that a little bit later. Just
I
a
would
little
love
bit.
to.
So
Definitely.
you grew up around disco, you grew up around rock, you grew up around soul. That that's what you were listening to as you were growing up. That's being played in the house.
Hmm.
So that really doesn't surprise me when you dropped the sounds of Philadelphia because obviously the influence was on 10.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea. Yeah, I mean, growing up in Philly, like not only just like in my house, but like those like Philadelphia International records, like they're
Oh
everywhere.
man.
like they're everywhere in Philly. Like you go
No
block
doubt.
parties in the summer, like they're just it's always on the radio. Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
then also, uh, the same channel that used to play the music video show, used to show reruns of Soul Train, and like
Hey.
we didn't have cable when I was younger, and I used to watch that a lot, and
Yeah.
just like
Soul Train.
I've always found myself uh interested in like gravitating to even before I played music, like more bass heavy music,
Hmm. Hmm.
like even like the rock music that I like, it would be like stuff where it was like you could hear the bass lines, you could hear like more
Yeah.
rhythm
More rhythm
focus.
section. Yeah. 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 I hear that.
Yeah. Um so yeah, that's like, and then when I got into making beats, like I've toyed around with the idea of going through like the whole discography of Philly International for a while.
Yeah.
And then like Dilla has that like that beat tape where it's like mostly Motown samples.
Yep.
He's from Detroit, and I was like, all right, like let me see what I can do. And then I just started going through the discography, trying to make at least like one beat per album, just like make
Mm.
my way through it. And yeah, Volume 4 just came out last week.
Yes, it did, which is unbelievably dope, by the way. Respect
Thank,
to.
thank
Respect
you.
to.
I'm glad you
Uh,
like it.
it's funny you brought up Dilla because
Yeah,
as I'm
you
listening to him, I'm
got
like, well then.
yeah,
Well then. Okay, let's go.
yeah. I mean,
So let me,
if you're making instrumental beat, if you're making beats, like you kind of have to like pay
I
homage.
mean, if I mean the influence is obvious, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's if anything, it just points to the mad influence that Dilla had on a gang of producers,
yeah.
other than yourself. You know what I mean? So you started producing music. Were there any other aspects of the culture that you were ever interested in or that you ever dabbled in?
I honestly like just from like being into the Beastie Boys. Like, I first started making music when I was in high school.
Mm,
I got a bass guitar when I was a
mm.
sophomore in high school. One of my friends got a drum set. Another friend already had a guitar, and like within
Hey,
like
there's your rhythm section right there.
4 days, we were like a hardcore band. Like none of us knew how to play, but like,
Yeah.
and we kind of started off from there, and then like just trying to learn how to play. Like we would go back and forth between like playing like Minor Threat covers, and then trying to learn how to play like the drum and bass parts from like a Cypress Hill or Dr. Dre song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
then
Okay.
yeah, and then I got in when I got into college. Um, I just overheard a kid in the class talking about how he made beats, and I was always interested, but I didn't know anybody who did it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know
Mm.
anybody with the equipment, and I kind of cornered him after class, and I was like, "Yeah, come to my dorm and like show me how to do this." And then from there, that's when I started. He gave me a bootleg version of Fruity Loops, and it
Hey,
was on
you
from there.
that definitely will do it.
Yeah,
Bootlegs of Fruity Loops. I think a lot of people are familiar with that.
I feel like that's how everybody gets started. I mean, it was
Right?
the
Right?
easiest version. It was the easiest version of bootleg.
Yep. And it really helped when you found out that Ninth
Yep.
was using FL, right? You're like, oh well, damn,
It
okay, well,
legitimized it. Yeah.
totally legitimized it. Yeah, for real. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this: as you were coming up, and as I mean, the music influence is obvious, right? With what was being played at the home, but as you were getting into hip hop yourself, you know, Beastie Boys notwithstanding, what were the folks around you, were the homies, were they also at the same time as you starting to delve into the culture as well, or were you kind of the odd person out?
That like all my friends, we kind of came like it was always both. Like it was always like
Mm,
we always liked like punk bands and
yeah.
like classic rock stuff, and then like we always liked rap music. Like there used to be a radio station in Philly that used to kind of play both, depending on what time of day you listen to it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, and yeah, like we were always like that into it. Like when I guess late grade school, early high school was like, I mean that was like prime like state property with
Right.
Rockefeller. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it was just in Philly. Like
Yeah.
Just heard it all the time, and then you know, being into the Beastie Boys and hearing them reference other people, and then like you get into high school, Wu Tang Clan, go and then just doing your homework and studying
Yeah.
like all the other artists, a lot of '90s style stuff
Yeah.
was really big around like me and my friends.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember the first record you actually purchased, whether it was a CD or a cassette or vinyl?
Uh, CD.
He's
I
like
don't
Beastie
know, man.
Boys.
Yeah, no, I remember I bought Game Theory, the Roots album, like pretty early
Okay.
in
Okay.
my.
Okay. Okay.
I remember like vividly the my friend, the kid on my street, his dad had a video store that also sold CDs, and
Mm,
he had Get Rich or Die Trying like a couple
okay.
weeks before it came out, and I remember being at his house like with a blank CD, being like, "You burned me this before it
Right.
comes
Right.
out. Like
Right.
I need this today."
Right. You know, the beats on that record hold up pretty well.
Yeah, and there's
They
some
really
killer
do.
joints on there.
Yeah. Yeah. They hold up pretty well for real.
And then vinyl probably is some like 7 inch from like a Philly punk band that's probably only ever put out one record, and it's
Okay.
sick.
When did you know, right? Because as you started to dabble and play around with Fruity Loops, when did you actually know, you know what? I think I could do this. And not just do this. I'm actually going to set a path out for myself.
It honestly like it was kind of just like the like punk DIY thing, just like yeah, we can do this. Just
Yeah.
let's just do it. And
Yeah.
so in college, like once I made a couple beats that I wasn't like embarrassed to show people, and when I say make beats, it was literally like
Just a little bit of lag.
oops,
That's
my
just a
back.
little bit of lag. No, it's just the internet.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I like figured out I could loop stuff, I just started sending it to two of my friends, and like
Right.
we'd mess around like they'd mess around and rap, and then we were like, I was a communication major at college, so I had access to a recording. I had
Hey,
access to
salute communications. Say what?
yeah. So I had access to I had access to a studio in school. So we are like, yeah, let's just go record and see what we could come up with.
Yeah.
And like we made a couple while we were in college. Like we made a couple EPs, and then like I met another friend of mine in school who rapped, and like he was making beats by himself. And I was like, yo, let's just make some stuff together. You can rap, I can't rap. We both make beats, like, and kind of just go from there. And then after college, like everybody got busy, and I didn't really know that there was like a scene for instrumental hip hop. Like
Mm.
I was aware of like Pete Rock's Pete instrumentals. I was
Peace
aware of like
instrumentals. Yeah.
Dilla, the Ninth Wonder stuff, Madlib,
Yeah.
but like I didn't know like anybody else was doing it.
Right.
So I stopped. Like I just stopped making beats, and then during the pandemic, we were all stuck in the house, and I was like, at the time I played in a band with one of my friends, and he was like, "Yo, you should get Ableton so we can still work on music while we're locked up."
Right.
And so I got it, and I was looking at it. And I'm like, I feel like you can make beats on this too. And I went on YouTube and I found the tutorial of somebody making 93 till infinity, like step by step in Ableton. And I just watched the video and would pause it and follow along and try to teach myself how to. That's how I learned how to make beats in Ableton, like that YouTube tutorial. No, you're frozen on my end.
Yeah, we both got a little bit of lag there.
Oh, what was the last? What was the last thing you heard me say?
Well, you were talking about YouTube and how you'd be
Okay.
pausing it while you were trying things.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there was a YouTube video of somebody was recreating Souls of Mischief 93 till Infinity
Okay.
in Ableton, and that's how I figured out how to use Ableton. Um, so I just like to occupy myself during the pandemic. I just started making beats again.
Hmm.
I made like three. I sent them to one of my friends who, used to like raps with us. And he was like, "Yo, these kind of remind me of Paul's Boutique. You should see if you can put
Ah,
an acapella on it." So I did, and he was like, "Yo, this is pretty cool. Just see if you can keep going." And I was like, "Well, we're stuck at home. Like, we're not doing anything else. Like, I might as well just keep going."
yeah.
So I remade Paul's Boutique with like original samples, and that was like I put that out.
Yep.
That was like the first thing I put out instrumentally, like by myself.
Yep. That was
Before I
fire,
started.
by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Nah, for real.
that was before stem separation. So that was a labor of love.
Yeah, for sure.
That was like I think I ended up using like 250 samples total, like on
Damn.
the whole project. Like it was fun though. Like that's it's one of my favorite all time records. So
Just out of curiosity, do you know if by chance if any of them actually got to hear this?
I tagged all of them.
Yeah.
I put it in like Reddit groups and stuff. Money Mark like liked it.
Okay. There you
Sick.
go.
So like maybe he
He's a
listened to
beastie.
it.
He's a
Uh
beastie.
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
There's a pretty active like BC Boys Reddit group. Um Shared it in there, and there's a couple of like YouTube channels that share all like the bootlegs and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a pretty good response from
There you go.
the community of BC Boys fans, and I was like, all right, well maybe my beats don't suck. Like I'll keep trying to make stuff, and
Yeah.
then I had the Philly idea from there.
Yeah. So let's. What was the genesis of the Philthadelphia series?
I just was like, I don't know. I feel like I work well with like concepts. Like I need something to be like this is like the framework I'm working in because otherwise it's just a bunch of beats, which is cool. But then like after the fact, I
I
have
get
to
that.
go in and like tie it together to try to come up with something cohesive. So I was like, this is cool. Like I like flipping soul samples. There's a ton of records on here that I already know and own, and then there's a bunch of stuff I don't know that I'm sure sounds just as good as the stuff I do know. They just might not be hit
Hmm.
songs get played on the radio.
Right.
So
Right.
that's kind of how it started. I was like, let me try it, and I went on like Discogs. Went in chronological order. I was like, all right, these are the records. I'm gonna make one beat out of each of these, and then I had I don't know how many songs the first volume is, but and then I went and like people seemed to like it, and I kept going from there. I mean, it was all really like positive feedback from like the Flipabeatclub community. Really, kind of just encouraged me to keep going and
Hmm.
putting out more stuff. And we all kind of inspire each other in that community. Like it's not really competitive at all. It's not
Right.
like it's a different mindset, I think, than like
Hmm.
MCs. Really, like producers are more
Yeah.
open to like community building and
Yep.
uh I don't know.
No, I agree with you on that completely.
Yeah,
So, the Sounds of Philadelphia, you're on number 4 now,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is are you gonna keep this going until I
I'm
get
definitely
until you feel like you've let it all out?
I'm definitely gonna keep going because there's records that
There's a
I
lot of
haven't
records.
touched
Yeah.
yet that I'm like there's some stuff in there. I know there's stuff in there. So yeah, I'm not gonna put a timeline on when I'm doing the next one. Like
Right.
this fourth one took a very long time to come out. Um,
Mm.
for a lot of different reasons. Like I was just kind of like in my head about it for a while. Like
That's fair.
it has to be better than the last one.
Yeah,
What can I do differently?
I hear
So then
that.
I got one of my friends to play bass on all the tracks, like
Hmm.
live. There's live bass guitar. Then I got a DJ Scruff, who's a DJ in Philly, to do cuts on it. And then through the Beatcast community, like I won. They did a beat battle. They've done two now, but the first one I won, and one of the prizes was getting your release out on cassette, like a limited cassette run.
Hey,
So then we had to make sure it was like mastered for cassette tape and
yeah,
make sure the artwork was like ready for cassette tapes and not just putting it on
artwork's
Bandcamp
fire
and stuff
too.
like that. Thank you. Yeah, my buddy Alex does it.
Yo,
He does.
salute Alex.
Yeah.
Nah,
He's
that cover art's fire, dog.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, like we just came up with like the idea. I was like, look at like their logo on all their albums,
Yeah,
and I was like, we can spin that
yeah.
so it's like my logo, and
Make
then
it your
just
own
go.
icon.
Yeah, and I was like, you can just
Yep.
go crazy with the different colors. Like we're gonna keep doing volumes, so just go crazy with it.
I can't stress how dope number 4 is. There was nothing wrong, obviously, with the 3 before, but man, you really killed it on 4, dog.
Thank you,
Jeez.
thank you.
Like
Yeah, going back to like how we were talking about Dilla before, like there's some very obvious like hat tips and like winks to Dilla
yeah,
shit on this
yeah,
new one
yeah,
from I do like the slowing down, speeding up thing
yep.
on one of the tracks. The one song is heavily inspired by I forget the name of the song on top of my head, but there's a Common song on like Water for Chocolate, and
Ah.
Dilla flipped the bass line from "Give It to Me, Baby" by Rick James,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and like he pitched it down and chopped it like it's unrecognizable until
Yep.
somebody points it out, and
Right.
like I was like, yo, I gotta try to make a song like that that has a cool bass line intro. So I tried to do that on this volume, and then yeah, like I said, like uh, I wanted to have like live bass on it, just because I feel like if I come up with like a cool like 2 bar, 4 bar chop loop, like it's cool, but it may get boring after a while.
Yep.
But if I have somebody playing live bass and they're doing like an 8 bar pattern, kind of keeps things interesting. Like
Oh yeah.
my friend who played bass on it, like the way we did it was he didn't want to hear any of the songs ahead of time. He just wanted to play.
Okay. Oh, okay.
We
Just kind
did
of groove
three.
with it.
We did 3 passes of every song, and then when I left, he was like, "Yeah, chop them up, rearrange them, like treat them like samples,
Yeah.
but it'll have that live feel, and you'll have plenty of stuff so like the bass line doesn't get repetitive."
Dope idea.
Yeah.
Dope idea.
Shout
Definitely.
out to him for being willing to let me like chop up and rearrange what he played.
Who what's the name of the person who played bass?
My friend Rob Purificato.
All right.
We've been friends since high school. We played in a bunch of bands together.
Was he in the band with you back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh, that's your boy. Okay. There you go.
Like
Salute
a
Rob.
bunch of my friends all played like music. We kind of just like circled around and like different combinations of all of us would get together and jam or like have a band and like record a couple of things.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. I want to touch briefly on Flipabeatclub. I want you
Oh,
to,
for sure.
to tell us about Flipabeatclub.
Yes. So shout out to Mons Rock, DiBiase, and 12 Wax.
DiBiase, yes sir.
So during the pandemic, uh, right before the pandemic in Sacramento, Mons Rock and DiBiase at 12's Wax, which is a record store out there, started Flipabeatclub just like their community.
Yeah,
And I just saw it online, and I was like, "Oh, this is dope! Like, I wish we
yeah,
had something like this in Philly." And uh, then their pandemic numbers went back up a little bit,
hmm,
so they moved it online, and
yeah,
DiBiase kind of opened it to like to the public, and he was like, "Oh, let's just try to do it on Zoom. See how many people come up. Like, we're all
yep,
stuck in the house making beats. Like,
yep,
might as well do it." So then I just started tapping in online, and like, you know, talking and making friends with people in the community and stuff like that. And my co-host in Philly, Cuno rap name, he was living in the Bay at the time,
Okay.
and he was going to move back to Philly. And he was like, "Yo, Mons, like if we can find a spot in Philly, can we do it out there?" And he was like, "Absolutely, let's do it." And then, so he moved back to Philly, and we started. We had one session in Philly. I went just like as a participant, and then he was like, "Yo, you want to co-host with me?" And that was, I think that was like 2.5 years ago at this point. And now there's chapters
Right.
everywhere.
There's like how many chapters now?
I'm about to bring up the flyer because we have a session on coming up on Friday.
Like, is it 10?
So
Feels like there's like 10 chapters.
we got Austin, Texas, Oakland, California, Chicago, Dallas, Texas, LA, New York, Phoenix, Arizona, Philly, Sacramento, Toronto, and
Yeah.
Yellow Springs, Ohio, and then
There you go.
online worldwide. Like people tune in from everywhere.
Yeah.
So if there's not a chapter around you, you can still
You have access.
participate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. No, that's salute to the Flipabeatclub like community because there's some dope shit coming out of there.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
just from the community. Like, so the way it works is we meet up. We meet up at a record store or online once a month, the third Friday of every month, and somebody curates a sample pack, whether it's from their
Right.
personal like vinyl collection or if
Yep.
they make samples themselves.
Yep.
Everybody comes, they bring whatever they use to make beats, any skill level, any style. You got 3 hours to make something, and then we go live in store and on the stream and play what you make. And it's really a testament to the art of sampling
Yeah.
because everybody's working with the same source material
Yep.
and not one person's beat sounds like anybody else's.
Can it get any doper than that though?
No,
Like
this
for
like
real.
if anybody's like, "Yo, I don't get it," you're just like, "Yo, come to the shop,
Yeah.
come to Crate Diggers. If you're in Philly, come to any of the other record stores or tune in and listen for yourself.
Exactly.
You'll
Exactly.
hear. You know, we have people doing straight up hip hop. We got people doing more experimental stuff. People doing house music, electronic stuff, footwork, drum and bass, like
As it
everything.
should be. Yeah, as it should be.
People going from making beats on their phones to people bringing out crazy gear that you've never seen before to people rocking off of classic MPC samples, people using their laptops.
Right? You could literally walk up with Koala on your phone and just go.
And many people do that. Other people bring in like a crazy setup. Like somebody showed up with an MPC 60 before,
Oh
like,
damn.
and they were like, "Yo, I don't know how do I like the samples are like in Google Drive," and he's like, "I don't. You got to get them to me somehow. I don't know how to do it." And we just like had to record it in and stuff like that. But yeah, like it's cool because you not only do you like see how other gear pieces of gear work,
Yeah.
but you learn from each other. You're like, oh, that's how you check your
Exactly.
brakes. Oh, I never tried that before. You just pick up different techniques and stuff like,
Yeah.
and like we have like a, you know, there's new people every time in Philly, but we have like a pretty solid core group that's been there from the beginning, and like to see everybody's growth and then collaborative projects coming out with
Mm.
each other, it's like it's really great to see, and you know, hopefully
Yeah.
we just keep building off of that.
Yeah, definitely shout out to the Flipper Beat community because y'all doing some damage and the
There's a lot
respect
of
is
heavy,
definitely there.
if rappers are listening and you got
Yeah,
good beats,
man. Woo.
this is the group to tap
Get
into.
off YouTube. Get off YouTube
I'm telling you,
and
that's
tap in.
I mean, DiBiase and Raz Fresco, they got like 3 albums together off of Flip
Yep.
Club.
Yep.
Like,
I'm saying that's definitely real. Definitely real.
yeah,
So, Sounds of Philthadelphia 4 is available now on Bandcamp.
it's on Bandcamp. It's on limited cassette.
Yep.
It's on all, you know, it's on all the streaming platforms too, because you know not everybody's checking for Bandcamp unless you're, you know, in the trenches. looking for
Although,
stuff.
I mean, fair enough. But we always try to push Bandcamp
Yeah,
because, I mean,
they're the
for the
only
most
ones that are
obvious
really
reasons.
they're
Yeah,
the only ones that are really looking out
yeah, for
to
real.
an
So
extent.
highly encourage you grab this because it is that dope. It is that dope. I highly encourage you
Appreciate it.
grab it off Bandcamp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
And then if you want to stream it like outside of the home, then fine. You have the ability to do so.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Or if
But
you want to
definitely,
share it to your friend who doesn't know what Bandcamp is.
exactly. Because Bandcamp is still pretty niche, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people who make music and people who
Exactly.
are looking to buy music, but like the
Exactly.
average listener, that's the only
It's
reason I
just,
put it on
yeah.
streaming. Like, I if it was up to me, I'd have cassette tapes and Bandcamp, and that'd be it.
You and a lot. I mean, if we had a choice, right? But
Yeah,
the streamers serve their purpose. They're there to
yeah, yeah,
promote,
for
and they help.
sure.
If they help promote, then that they serve their purpose.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, yo, man, I really want to thank you for spending time with us in the lounge space today. Enough respect.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Again, I cannot stress how dope this record is.
Thank
Sounds
you.
of Philthadelphia 4. If you don't already have it, if you haven't heard it, you need to. And you need to cop it because shit is fire, okay? For real, for real.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, like follow me on Instagram. Check out my
Exactly.
Bandcamp. There's a ton of other projects up there outside of the Philadelphia series.
Exactly. And you definitely got to hear the Beastie Boys remix because
Yes, yeah. If
you
you're a
really
fan of the
killed it on
Beastie
that.
Boys, I'd love to hear
Yes.
what you think of it. And we talk about obscure samples of '80s rap music and stuff like that.
You can nerd out,
Yeah,
basically. There
yeah.
you go.
Let's talk. Let's talk drum breaks.
Right? Well, yo, I want you to know that I certainly hope this isn't the last time you spend time with us. You know what I'm
Absolutely
saying?
not.
Okay, we exist solely to help promote dope shit. So the next time it's time to drop something else, by all means, it's an open door for you.
Absolutely. I'd
All
love to come
right?
back. It's a lot of fun. And
Hey.
when you want to talk wrestling,
Man, you know what? I think we'll get you on the wrestling pod. How about that?
we'll get in there.
We'll get
Hell
you on the
yeah.
wrestling pod. I think we could have a lot of fun on that one.
Yeah, man.
All right?
All right, man.
Respect.
Peace.
Thank you again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Sounds of Philadelphia 4 Bandcamp. Cop it. Cop it. Cop it.
Yes, yes. Let's
Be easy,
go.
dog.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Peace.